So what's going on, guys? Max here and welcome back to another video. Today I'm very excited because today I am doing a video that I've been actually wanting to do for a very long time, pretty much since I began photography and filmmaking. The video that I've been watching throughout YouTube. Literally every time I would go on YouTube, literally watch multiple different camera bag videos and just get inspiration, figure out my future plans, my future upgrades with gear, figuring out what gear I want, learning about the different types of audio equipment there is, lighting. This can probably be my first official camera bag setup that I'm ever doing. This is my first official camera bag setup and I cannot wait to see how this is going to change throughout the years. So today we're going to be doing a what's in my camera bag for 2019.
Having a great time out here. So much fun things to do. So have a fun time. You know, like I feel like I don't.
Alright guys, so before we actually dive straight into what we actually have in our camera bag itself, I kind of wanted to talk about the camera I'm shooting the video with because it's not actually going to be in the camera bag and it's pretty important. So the Sony a6300 is my main filmmaking camera. It's a beast. I love it. I'm shooting on it right now with the Sony kit lens. It's a 16 to 50mm kit lens. Great lens. I'm using autofocus. So as you guys can see, we're using autofocus. It's a little bit of a different look than what I usually do. I usually shoot on the 50mm 1.8 Canon lens I'm going to be talking about later. And that's pretty much the setup that is not going to be in the camera bag, but we're using it to shoot this video. And so that out of the way, let's actually jump straight into the actual camera bag itself. So the camera bag itself that I use is an awesome In-Case DSLR Pro backpack. It is made by In-Case. Fantastic backpack. A lot of creators use this type of backpack. Really popular. I love it. The outside exterior of this backpack, it's sleek, it's beautiful, but it's also usable when it means to actually putting things on it. I can actually bring a tripod, I could bring a gorilla pod, I could strap things on it, and it works. It really does the job well, and I love it for that. I love this camera bag for that, the fact that it looks nice, and it still has a lot of like usability and ergonomics. I love it, and the actual quality of it, it's fantastic. It's rugged, it's strong. You can pretty much practically not rip it. There's no way you're gonna rip it, so it's very sturdy. You don't have to worry about it, and it is pretty water resistant. I don't think it's waterproof. Obviously, don't drop it in a river, but if you're in intense rain, you should be okay. But pretty much diving straight into the camera bag, let's start off with the first couple of compartments. This small little compartment here, it's good. You can keep stuff like gloves. That's what I usually keep in there. I have gloves. I actually have chewing bubble gum right here just to keep your breath fresh on a shoot. So it's a little bit of a quick access, kind of some important things. Not really any camera gear in there. It can't really fit too much in there, but it's a pretty good spot to hold things other than camera gear. And let's move on to the top piece right here. We got the small little thing. What I usually put in here is things that are made out of glass that you don't want to get scratched up. So usually when I don't have things like that, I put my camera caps in there, lens caps, because the thing is I try to avoid putting it in my pockets because sometimes I forget. Possibly I can lose them. So the goal is to try and put them in here. But what I also use this for, other than carrying a cloth, pretty important to wipe down your lenses when they're dirty. What I usually put in here is if I'm shooting and I don't really have time to put my filters back into the main compartment, I take the filters and I throw them in here. It's okay because it has this nice soft material. It's a very nice and soft material and it just protects your stuff. So if you have anything that's really fragile, like a filter, anything that's fragile and important that just you don't want to get scratched up with all the other stuff, really great pouch to put it in. These two front pockets, they're not the most useful pockets, but I use them on occasion. So with those two pockets out the way, let's get into the main first bigger pocket, and this one contains a lot more juicier things. So it's actually a pretty big pocket. You can literally fit headphones in here. It really does extend quite a bit. So as you guys can see, like this can literally extend like further out. You could put a lot of stuff in there if you have a lot of stuff like me. If you want to bring like a cleaning kit, if you want to bring your headphones, it really does fit. It expands quite big and it actually works really well for that. But with those things out of the way, let's talk about the actual pouches that you get on this. So start off with the bottom. Right here we have cool little places to put like pencils and pens. I have a pen here. If I want to fill out things in an airport, wherever I am, I need to fill things out. I know I have a nice good pen I can use. I have a place where I actually have my awesome business cards. I got my business cards here. These are dope. These are pretty nice business cards. They work very, very well, and I use them for my video and photography work. If somebody wants any services from me when it comes to photo and video and I stumble upon them, I have this to give them. And also great use for the pen is on the back I have a space where you can write notes down. So if you want to schedule an appointment on the spot, there's a spot right here with my pen that I can write and schedule an appointment. But I have tons of them, and here tons of the cards in here, business cards, and that's kind of that slot. Here we have a jumbo amount of cables literally spread around. There's so many cables. There's audio cables, there's USB cables for cameras and charging batteries, there's a cable for my phone as a backup one if the main one breaks or I lose it. So there's a lot of good backup and useful cables right there if I don't bring my main set of cables. So that is a great spot to keep a lot of my cables and miscellaneous in. And moving up, the first kind of bigger pouch is pretty much where I store my battery charger. This is a phone battery charger. It's by Palm Gear, as you guys can see. It's a pretty damn good charger. I like it. Charges my phone probably around 2 to 3 times consistently. Slowly dying off. I actually dropped it many times, as you guys can see. I had to literally super glue it like 3 times. The front piece fell off and broke. It's very damaged, but it's 10,000 milliamp hours. You guys can see it's very nice, and it charges my phone. And with that place, I also have an iPhone cable. This is a lightning cable. Everybody has this. If you're an iPhone user, you have a lightning cable. It just sits right in this pouch here, and it works perfectly. And with all of that pouches out of the way, let's move to the last pouch up here. It's the big pouch. This pouch houses my laptop. This is the laptop I use for a little bit of editing. It's just my regular day-to-day work if I'm doing things like typing for school, anything that I need to do that's kind of like on the go. This is what I'm going to be doing. This is the Lenovo Yoga 920. As my photo editing and all of my lighter kind of uses. It's a 14-inch laptop, so it's right in between 13 and 15 inches, and I'm pretty sure that a 15-inch laptop would comfortably fit in here. That's that front pocket out of the way. Let's dive straight into the main compartment. And before we dive straight into the main compartment, there's actually a quick access thing right here. So if I want to access my camera up here, I usually have my A6300 right there. It's a quick access thing. So if I'm shooting or I'm traveling and I don't want to keep my camera on me and hold it, I put it up there. I quickly unzip it to take the camera out and just start shooting at any point. It works really nicely and I love it. So let's jump quickly into the main compartment, into the main backpack, if you guys want to call that. Here is the main compartment, the main backpack compartment. This is amazing. Like, it's awesome. Here is usually where the A6300 goes with a lens. I can even build a bigger lens in here. This slot right here, it's free, but I'm hopefully soon going to be getting a 35mm cine lens or the 100mm macro, and that's pretty much the home it's going to have. And in the future, when I do upgrade those lenses, I'm going to take out my lens hoods, which sit in this pocket, and I'm going to put lenses in here. So it's very modular. You could take these slots out, fully customize it for myself. I can always take the different slots out and fit probably at least 2 more lenses can easily fit in here for sure. So I guess let's just move on. Right here is usually where my microphone sits. Right now it's just the dead cat. I'm shooting on the Video Mic Go. That's usually what sits in this compartment here, the Video Mic Go. Very nice microphone. You can get it for under $100. The audio system I'm using right now is the Video Mic Go with the H1 Zoom. Combining them both together pretty much gives me a $200 audio setup that sounds amazing. As you guys can hear, it sounds pretty good. And if I'm traveling, I will put the H1 Zoom. I can fit the H1 Zoom pretty much right in the small little spot right here that's available, and I can carry both the H1 Zoom and the Video Mic Go in that good little compartment in my bag. Now let's move on to my second camera body. This is the Canon Rebel T5i, or otherwise known as the Canon 700D. This camera right here has been pretty much the beast I've been using over the last year and a half to do content on YouTube. All of my stuff, even outside work, everything has been done on this guy. I actually made a video last week. If you guys haven't seen it, click up here. Talked about the best filmmaking camera to start, pretty much doing filmmaking, the best camera to start with, and this is by far the best one. This taught me lighting, this taught me the importance of audio editing. If it wasn't for this guy being so limited, I probably would have become a lazy filmmaker, and that is not a good thing to get comfortable with. Getting comfortable with being a lazy filmmaker is not going to help you in the long run, especially if you're trying to get into it as a professional. So starting off with the cheaper camera, which is going to push you improving yourself in other portions of filmmaking, this is the perfect guy to go for. Any of the Rebel cameras in the Rebel series, you get them for fairly cheap, and I use this as a second camera body, as a backup, as a second angle, as a behind the scenes camera, just a second body. I always can trust it. I can trust it for photography and for video. All of the lenses that I own fit on this guy perfectly, and everything works perfectly fine and seamless with this camera body. So it has a nice little home in the camera bag slot close to the bottom. It's great. I can always access it if I want to do photos or videos, and it does the job very well. Another cool accessory I have is gaff tape. Everybody should have gaff tape. It's pretty important. It doesn't leave residue. It's a really great filmmaking thing. I gaff tape pretty much everything around the room. If I'm doing photo shoots or video shoots, I always gaff tape something. So this is pretty important. And as a filmmaking tool, this is inevitable and it's important to have. And it has a nice little slot all the way at the bottom of my bag, and it looks pretty good and it's easy to access when I need it to. Other pouch on the bottom, I have pretty much my battery chargers. Sony battery chargers. It is by a company called DSTE. Not amazing, but I got extra batteries with them. The battery charger is great. You could take it off. I could even change the type of battery charger it is. It's great, gets the job done, and it's good. Let's go on to this pouch, which holds our filters. This is two pouches. One is for filters, one is for batteries. When I was buying this filter pack for like 20 bucks, I thought it only came with one, but when I opened it, I noticed that it came with two, which was great because now I have one for my filters and I have one for my batteries, so I don't have to get a battery pouch anymore. This fits my batteries pretty well. The cool thing is I can strap it to my belt. It's gonna work really well to strap it on the belt. It's gonna be perfect for that. So I guess let's just start off with the filter one. When you open it, there's three pouches. I have three filters for now. I have a polarizing filter, cuts out all of the reflections of 77 millimeters. Another filter I have is obviously the classic ND filter. Everybody needs an ND filter. It's important. Sunglasses for your camera. I can put it up to the lens right now. As you guys can see, things just went crazy dark. Cuts out light. It's perfect. The 72 millimeter filter, it's not perfect, but I am going to be replacing it with a much more expensive 77 millimeter soon. And I have a small 49 millimeter 1000 stop ND for my 50 millimeter lens. It never gets used. I bought it at the beginning when I got the 50 millimeter lens because I was an idiot. I never knew. I just thought just buying the right filter thread size for your lens and just buying whatever the ND stop, it would have been okay, but no, I got way too powerful ND stop and it was pretty much unusable. So next pouch is the battery pouch. As you guys can see when you open it, it's also three slots. The top slot is where I keep the Canon batteries. I have three Canon batteries in here, and the other one is in the camera itself, just so I can always turn the camera on, pop a lens on it, and it's always ready to go. I have three extra batteries. Even though these are smaller Canon batteries, these last for literally all day long. So this is pretty much enough for, I think, like 2 days of shooting. It's enough for probably 2 days of heavy, intense shooting, and it works pretty damn well. And the next pouch, the next side, is the one that holds my Sony batteries. You guys can see we got three Sony batteries in here, and we're using our fourth one in there. 4 batteries is enough. It's good enough for now, especially when taking photos. Around 3 hours of shooting time. It's enough for me. It's not amazing, but it gets the job done. Maybe in the future I might get 2 more batteries, but what I am going to be doing is I'm going to be doing kind of like a hack for my camera for when I'm shooting video. I'm going to get an adapter so I can actually start using my bigger MPF batteries, which I use for my LED lights, to put on top of the camera and pretty much give me all day battery life. I'm going to do a whole video on that a little bit in the future when I actually get that whole system going. I can get the bigger MPF battery that lasts pretty much all day. So instead of using these smaller ones, I can use the bigger batteries. So that's that, and that's pretty much where I hold my batteries and my filters that fit in this nice small little pouch. That's that. Moving on, we have a backup drive. I back up all my photos, all my videos on this. Perfect, gets the job done. I like it. It's perfect. I don't actually edit off this. I tried editing off it. It doesn't really work. It's too slow, but it's great for backing up photos when I'm on a shoot, when I'm out traveling, storing all the files, all photo and video files. It's all stored on this drive here, and it has a nice little compartment right on the bottom here, and it works perfectly fine. So now let's move on to the juicier portion, my favorite part, to the lenses. And actually, before we jump to the lenses, let's actually talk about this adapter. This is a Comlight adapter that adapts EF lenses to my Sony E-mount. So as you guys can see, let's open it up. It is a fully electronic lens adapter. It's great. I like it a lot. It wasn't expensive. I saved around 135 bucks going with this guy than going with the Sigma one. Made no sense because I don't use Sigma lenses yet. It didn't really make sense to drop $300 on an adapter that wouldn't make a difference, so I saved money, went with the calm light. For photography, this gives me full capabilities in photo mode while using my Canon lenses. And when it comes to video, since I use Canon branded lenses themselves, there's pretty much non-existent autofocus in video, so I pretty much do manual focus, and this works as a really nice high quality adapter, and it works perfectly fine. Let's jump straight into the second favorite lens. This is the Canon 10 to 18 millimeter lens. This is an ultra wide angle lens. It's great. I love it. I use it for vlogging, architecture, landscape. Very nice and ultra wide angle lens. It's great. It has a 10 to 18 millimeter thing. Autofocus. It also has image stabilization, IS in the lens. It works great since there's no image stabilization in the Sony body, which I don't really care about, but that's okay. If I need that extra stabilization, it comes on the lens. So those micro jitters are pretty much gone when using this guy, and especially when I'm shooting on my glide cam, pretty much no shake at all, and this works perfectly well with that. The second lens that I own is just by far, I think, the most used lens out of all the lenses, which is pretty much only 3 lenses actually. Since the kit lens, I actually count that as a lens too, because I'm not actually going to keep that in my camera bag now as well. So out of 3 lenses, this is my most used one. This is the 50mm 1.8 from Canon. It's a stunning, gorgeous lens. It's amazing. 1.8 aperture, small, amazing build quality. It's fantastic. The actual lens, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. I shoot all of my in-studio videos, portraits, fashion shots, product photos, b-roll shots, detailed photos, detailed videos. It's all done with the 50 1.8, and it gets the job done very well. This lens is going to undergo a couple of cool little upgrades. I'm going to make a video on this lens again, an updated one. If you guys want to see a video on this guy right now, click up here. You guys can watch that video. I'm going to make an updated video on this guy, but this is my main lens. I love this. It's a beast of a lens, and it just gets the job done for pretty much all of the work that I do. And I'm not going to talk about what I keep in here. I have SD cards, just extra miscellaneous laying around here, batteries, other batteries for lights, camera plates, and all of that stuff. So
I swear never